city, and thank you for this very warm welcome. I'm grateful to IFSCA and the organizers for bringing us together. Today, I want to briefly talk about why I believe that strong financial markets matter, especially when the world feels less predictable. But let me start with a confession. Coming from Luxembourg and speaking in India always invites at least one joke. Luxembourg is a small country. In India, we would probably call it a neighborhood. If I look at the size difference, I feel quite humble. If I look at the size of the financial flows we both manage, I feel right at home again. Luxembourg has one of the world's highest concentrations of cross-border finance. In fact, Luxembourg's financial center manages volumes 2 to 3 times the size of India's. And I believe there are synergies for us to take here. And that is precisely the unifying spirit of this conference. In my home country, in the heart of Europe, I see finance as a stabilizer in uncertain geopolitical times. But this stabilizing role also applies to the Indo-Pacific region. For we are living through a period of political and geopolitical stress. Conflicts reshape everything around us. And I believe that we need to take countermeasures here. And this includes using finances that connect rather than divide under the guiding principle of global cooperation. In addition, trade frictions create new costs. And at a time when we need new growth above all else, risk can change fast, sometimes overnight. And in this context, finance plays indeed a stabilizing role. Capital markets preserve stability when news often drives volatility. Capital markets allow long-term investment even when the short term is noisy. And they help households save, companies invest, and governments fund essential priorities. We need capital for long-term priorities, including climate and resilience. This is why this finance matters. And when I spoke earlier about new keys to new doors to the future, the central key to our common future is trust. Stability in finance, in particular, also depends on trust. Trust in institutions, in transparency, and in our partners. If you like, partnership is trust in action. So, this is definitely the moment for a new generation of partnerships. New generations based on shared values. Partnerships built on practical interest. Partnerships built on clear rules. This also applies to India and Europe. And I'm delighted that the 16th EU-India Summit is also pointing in this direction. I'll come back to that later. My government is also actively developing new partnerships in finance. Luxembourg is a small country, deeply European and highly international. Our experience is simple. Openness works best when it is based in trust and values. India and Luxembourg share important foundations: freedom, democracy, rule of law, stability, social cohesion. A commitment to rules-based and multilateral international order. Another thing in common with India, by the way, we also have a major new accelerator for cooperation. The already mentioned EU-India trade deal. This is a strategic step forward. It can increase predictability for business. It can deepen investment links. It can give more structure to our economic cooperation. And as a finance minister, I also see the practical impact. Fewer frictions, more confidence, and more incentives to build long-term partnerships. Also, partnerships between our people. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may briefly return to my home country, Luxembourg is a cross-border financial center by design. We specialize in building bridges between countries, investor bases, and real economy needs. Luxembourg is the largest investment fund center in Europe and the second largest in the world. We host around 8 trillion euros in assets under management. Luxembourg funds are distributed in over 80 countries across the world. We represent close to 60% of global cross-border fund distribution. We have over 115 banks from more than 20 countries operating from Luxembourg. We serve internationally mobile clients, families, and also corporates. We are also the EU's lending and leading hub for cross-border life insurance. And we have a growing community of fintech companies with global clients. They build payments, tokenization, and RegTech solutions used across borders. One reason I share these figures is simple. Luxembourg sees itself as a global hub to connect markets. And finance works best when it remains a bridge between economies. Now, there is a historic opportunity to work together with India, and we should seize this opportunity. India's market and growth story is remarkable. India's domestic markets have scaled at impressive speed. India has seen very strong activity in economic growth and capital markets. India has built a massive and growing base of retail investors, and your asset management industry has expanded well. India's national vision for the coming decades sends us a clear message: ambition and confidence to grow. But India has also large investment needs across infrastructure, industry, innovation, energy, and cities. This is where financial cooperation in our mutual interest becomes valuable. Gift City and IFSCA show a clear intention to build an international financial services ecosystem with global connectivity. In Luxembourg, we see two clear options for cooperation: supporting Indian institutions seeking access to European and global investors through Luxembourg structures and also platforms, and for facilitating European and global investment into India. And here we still have enormous potential. Strong building blocks already exist. Our supervisors already cooperate. Luxembourg's financial supervisor, the CSSF, who is here with us today, has an agreement with SEBI. It has also one MOU with IFSCA. And these frameworks support information exchange, knowledge sharing, and also high standards. Our market infrastructures also cooperate. The Luxembourg Stock Exchange has built cooperation with India's exchange ecosystem, including on sustainable finance and dual listings. These sound like technical details, but they are the beginning of trust. Trust in action, I said earlier. Cross-border finance runs on such relationships between supervisors, exchanges, infrastructures, and rules. Ladies and gentlemen, financial markets are powerful tools. I want finance to serve the real economy. I want finance to strengthen resilience and defense. I want finance to accelerate the climate transition. I want finance to support innovation and opportunity. I want finance to boost the common global good. Luxembourg has tried to turn this into action. We have a strong track record in sustainable finance, including the green and sustainable bonds. We have experience connecting global savings with projects that deliver measurable outcomes. Let us do this together. I see 5 areas of future cooperation. Number 1, investment funds and asset management connectivity. Luxembourg can support India managers and institutions seeking access to European and also global investors. Number 2, capital markets, connectivity and listings. We can reduce friction for high-quality issuers and investors. We can support growth in sustainable listings and market access. Number 3, sustainable finance and transition finance. India's investment needs are large. Europe's investors' base is looking for credible opportunities. Our job to make projects investable, transparent and also scalable. Number 4, digitalization, tokenization and AI in markets. Let's work together where innovation benefits society. And today, this social progress can only be conceived on a global scale. And finally, number 5, policy dialogue. Cross-border markets thrive when we talk to each other. The existing cooperation is a strong foundation, but we can and we must make it more operational. In all of this, I took action to further drive our cooperation. Luxembourg will invest in presence and follow-up. For this reason, we will expand our diplomatic network. And in the near future, we will send an employee from my ministry to Mumbai, with a particular focus on financial cooperation. This will be the first of such a position, and it fits with a broader momentum in our bilateral relationship. Ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude. In uncertain times, the instinct is often to pull back. That instinct is understandable. But our human mind tells us something more. Therefore, our answer should be confidence, connectivity, and partnership. And I believe that we have momentum on our side. The strengthening of EU-India economic ties gives our partnership a new framework and a clear direction. Our task is to translate the momentum into practical market connectivity. More investment, more innovation, more resilience, more growth, and more prosperity. Partnerships today, global progress, and future tomorrow. Luxembourg is ready to play its role as a cross-border platform and your trusted partner. With this in mind, I wish us all an excellent conference, and I look forward to our continued cooperation. Thank you very much.